I told my stepdad that after 20 years, I'm done dealing with his delusions about being my father. My mom started dating my stepdad Mike when I was 7 years old. From day one, this guy was obsessed with trying to be my dad. He'd pick me up from school and introduce himself to my teachers as my father. He'd sign permission slips as dad, and constantly tried to insert himself into every part of my life. The problem was, I already had a dad. My real dad was amazing, and I spent every other weekend with him. Mike hated this arrangement and would make these passive-aggressive comments whenever I came back from my dad's house, asking why I seemed happier there or saying things like, "Your real family is here." When I was 10, my dad died in a car accident. I was completely destroyed. The day we got back from the funeral, Mike sat me down and said, "I know this is hard, but you still have a dad. You have me." I completely lost it and screamed at him that he would never be my father. But Mike didn't get the message. Every Father's Day became this huge battle. He'd expect cards and presents and family dinners while I just wanted to visit my dad's grave and remember him. Mike would get offended and say I was being disrespectful to the man who actually raised me. Over the years, it got worse. Mike started talking trash about my dad, saying things like, "Why do you put him on a pedestal when he's not even here? I'm the one who's been taking care of you." He'd get jealous when I mentioned good memories with my dad or when I'd visit his grave on the anniversary of his death. When I moved out for college, I thought the pressure would stop. Wrong. Mike still expected Father's Day calls and still referred to himself as my dad to strangers. He'd introduce me to people as his daughter, and I'd have to awkwardly correct him every time. Last month, my fiancé Jake and I were planning our wedding when Mike cornered Jake at a family barbecue. He told Jake that as my father, he should be the one walking me down the aisle and doing the traditional father of the bride speech. Jake told him politely that it wasn't his decision to make and that I might choose to walk alone. Mike got aggressive and started arguing that he'd earned the right to those traditions because he'd been there for 20 years. Jake finally told him to leave, and Mike stormed out complaining about disrespect. The next day, Mike showed up at my apartment demanding to know why I was shutting him out of my wedding planning. He said, "As your dad, I should be involved in these decisions. Your father should be walking you down the aisle." That's when I snapped. I looked him straight in the eye and said, "Mike, if after 20 years you still don't understand that I don't see you as my dad, then I don't know what it's going to take. But I'm done dealing with your delusions about our relationship." He went completely silent for a minute, then started yelling about how ungrateful I was and how he'd wasted 20 years of his life trying to be a father to someone who didn't appreciate him. He stormed out, slamming my door so hard my neighbor came out to check what happened. An hour later, my mom called screaming at me for disrespecting her husband. She said Mike was devastated and that I needed to apologize immediately. She kept saying he'd been more of a father to me than my real dad ever was, which just made everything worse. I told my mom that Mike chose to be with someone who had a kid, and that didn't automatically make him my father. My dad died, but that doesn't mean Mike gets to replace him just because he married my mom. Now my mom isn't speaking to me either, and Mike has been posting on Facebook about ungrateful stepchildren who don't appreciate sacrifice.